as we got back in here Sunday, our total focus was on us, and to figure out why we didn't get the results that we wanted, and that was our complete focus. Getting a plan together as a staff that's going to allow our players to execute at a very high level, and so that's been our complete focus this week. We had one of our better days of practice yesterday. Energy level was high. Focus was incredible. We hope that that'll continue today at practice. I wouldn't anticipate anything but that. And our guys will respond this week. And that's we look forward to the ball game. We look forward to 11 a.m. kick and get ready to go.
First up, we have Tom Murphy, the Arkansas Democrat Gazette.
Hey, Chad, I wanted to ask you how Nick Starkel looked just responding from last week's game, and then moving that forward. What do you guys need to do to be successful against an A&M defense that has good numbers?
Well, first of all, they're extremely talented. And when you look at the two losses that they've had, and the way that they gave up the points in those games, I mean, Clemson and Auburn, they both had to work to get the points that they got, and had to work extremely hard. So we know we got our work cut out for them there. We got to put a plan together that's going to allow our players to play fast and play confident. And then as far as Nick was out here Sunday and was excited to get back out on the field, and understands that each week he's going to grow, he's going to mature in this offense. And if yesterday's any indication of what Saturday will look like for Nick, he's well on track. So we're excited about his response as well as our entire team.
Okay, and then if you could update the status of Trey Knox, and then you're going to get TJ Hammonds back this week, how much he might fit into the game plan, and also Chase Hayden.
Chase Hayden will be out. Traylon Burks will be back. Trey Knox should be fine and good to go. We kept him out yesterday more for precautionary, try to get him an extra day. And TJ Hammonds will be a part of us and part of our game plan as well. So yes.
Next is Chip Howard of KZNE Radio.
What jumps out offensively when you turn on the tape and look at A&M?
Well, I think obviously the decision making with Kellen and of the speed that those guys have out on the edge, the size of their receivers. That's one thing that's been very impressive to watch them offensively. I mean, obviously, Coach does a really good job of mixing up and trying to be as balanced as you possibly can. But it's the size of receivers. The decision making of Kellen is to me, it's been very much impressive this young in part of the season.
It's pretty unusual to have two key guys like Boyd and Starkel who have played for the other team this week. What do you think their excitement level is going into this one?
Well, I think the entire football team will be excited to get back out and to get the performance that we put on the field last week out of our system. And so I anticipate our best football. And I think our guys are going to play incredibly well. I think with Nick and with Rakeem, both of those guys have obviously got teammates that friends on the other team, and there's a history of knowing each other, and so I think there'll be an extra incentive. I'm sure it's only human not to, but I wouldn't expect that to take away from their playing.
Thank you. Next is Travis Brown of the Bryan College Station Eagle.
Hi, Coach. Just going back to the move to Nick Starkel, what was some of the attributes and qualities that you liked about him to elevate him to the position at that time?
Well, he's obviously his arm strength is incredible. Sees the field really well, and that was the whole thing was, during fall camp and watching his progression and growing the offense, I felt that if he could continue on the path that he was on, that the opportunity for him to become our starter would exist at some point in time in the season. We needed a spark in the second half of the Ole Miss game, and that's why I brought him in, and he provided that for us, and obviously came out and played extremely well against Colorado State, and so it's part of the learning process right now for Nick, and Nick is he's a competitor, and he's none harder on anybody than himself, and so he's back in here this week preparing like it's just the next game, and you love his maturity.
Thanks, Coach.
Next is Bob Holt, the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Hey, Chad, how you doing?
Hey, Bob.
You mentioned TJ Hammonds a minute ago. How did he handle sitting out? I mean, I know he's practicing. How did he handle missing those first 4 games? What was his attitude like? How hungry do you think he is to play? And what kind of boost could he give the offense possibly this week?
Well, I think, we all know he's incredibly fast. So he adds speed to our offense. The way he handled it would be exactly what I expected, that he would get out on scout team and give great looks, and be a part and be engaged, and continue to work hard in the weight room and come out to work with a spectacular attitude, and that's what he did. And so, for that, I think he's grown from the experience, and we're excited to have him back.
And you mentioned with Nick and Rakeem, playing at A&M, they might have a little something extra. And of course, you graduated from A&M, and Chief coached there, and Ron Cooper coached there, and I guess one of your analysts coached there, and your daughter went there, and I don't even have some other family members who went there. What does it mean to you, and what do you think about having all these A&M connections with the Razorbacks for this game?
Well, where we're at this point, obviously going to Dallas and playing in a area that's very much part of our footprint in recruiting, a conference game, regardless who the opponent is, I think that it goes back to, it's more about how we perform than who we play, but when you look at the history and the connections there, I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, it's there's a lot of likeness. There's a lot of familiarity, and so, but that's not going to have any impact on the way that the game's going to come out. I mean, it's about us. It's about our preparation. It's about us getting ready to play at our absolute best.
Thanks.
Next is Nate Allen. Nate Allen, Sports Service.
Said you thought that Starkville pressed too much last week. Is you really trying to kind of de-emphasize the connection with A&M this week?
Well, you can only do that so much. I mean, he obviously spent some time there, graduated there, and has understanding of his teammates, and when he invested his time there, and so I'm sure deep down this is he just sees this as a great opportunity. It's the next game, but watching Nick and watching him perform this week and prepare this week, and just his maturity level, I would think nothing less than Nick just being focused and locked in on his preparation and his ability to move this offense and elevate his teammates.
Also regarding A&M, how much do you look for Kellen Mond to figure as a runner this week, considering their running game level?
Well, yeah, I think that I do think that you'll see Kellen run the football a little bit this week. I do fully expect that. I think that when you look at this year and see maybe some of the breakdowns we've had in a few of the contained areas, it's allowed the quarterback to run the football. And I think there's some things last week that the quarterback could have ran the football on some occasions, and he didn't. And I think that's we're definitely going to have to be on high alert for that.
Thank you.
Pete Relay of 24/7 Sports.
Yeah, Coach. How has the offensive line kind of responded after a tough week, especially going up against a tough defensive front like Texas A&M?
Well, when you look at this game, first of all, they've responded extremely well. And as I mentioned earlier, that yesterday's practice, Sunday's preparation was as good as we've had. So I was very encouraged by the focus, the intensity level with not just the O-line, but everybody. But when you look at this game and you look at the results of, 5 of the last 7 years, and they're on a 7-game win streak right now, but 5 of the last 7, this game has came down within 7 points. And, a few of those have gone to overtime. So I think you take the records, you take the previous games out of play. This is a big ball game for both teams. And it's 2 teams, backs against the wall, and I think you're going to see the best of both.
Thanks.
We're out of time, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. After evaluating the film from this past Saturday, a very hard-fought game against Auburn, they have a very good team. Hard-fought. We battled very well. Got behind early in the game, which we wish we wouldn't have been able to do, and then had momentum swings in the game and had chances to make some plays to get back to that momentum. Didn't quite make them. Made them late. Got back in, had a chance in the end on all 3 phases. We didn't play well enough. Played very well at times. Certain situations didn't play as well as we needed to. Defensively gave up a couple things. Offensively, not enough to move the football, but not enough substantial drives. And what we did, finishing drives down in the red zone a couple times. Gave up a punt return and kicking game a little bit, and just need to play better. But at the same time, we're extremely very close. The mistakes in which we have are extremely fixable. And right there in front of us, we see them, and the kids see them, and we as coaches, we got to do a better job of keep coaching these guys, putting them in better position as coaches, and do a better job, and them just finalizing the things we have to do. So we've had a good week of practice so far. Monday and Tuesday practice, we're both very energetic and understand that. We still have an opportunity to have a very, very good football team. Just have to fix the issues. Going into a very tough game against Arkansas, it's always a rivalry game. The game has always had great history, great tradition. Being able to go up to the venue in Dallas and be able to play is one of the great venues in college football. I think the neutral site games are good for you as a college player. I think they could promote some things later on as our team develops the things in which we have. It's a great plan for our fans and some of the people in that part of the state to be able to easy access to be able to get to a game. But Arkansas is a very good football team, very balanced. Nick's playing quarterback for them, very talented guy, can throw the football, make all the throws, very good competitor. Tight end is very talented, young wideouts are skilled, backs can play. Chad always does a tremendous job on offense with the high violations and tricks and screens. He just does an outstanding job, and Chavis has been around his business a long, long time. This guy's had as much success as anybody, the defensive coordinator. They mix their fronts with their overs, their unders. They jump into their bear, blitzes, man coverage, zone coverage. I mean, they do a really good job. The special teams are very solid. So what we have to do is focus on ourselves, play very well, get better this week, hopefully have a great game against Arkansas, and just keep getting better as we go. We need to have a great week of practice and play well for a whole game in all 3 phases. Questions?
We'll begin with Bob Holt of the Arkansas Democrat Gazette.
Hey, Jimbo, how you doing?
Hello.
Knowing Nick like you do, how do you think he'll respond to that 5-interception game? And based on what I read, it sounds like he had a pretty good transfer from you guys in terms of doing things the right way. How do you feel about all that?
He's an extremely classy guy and a very, very good player. Like I said, Nick is definitely a starter here, and it could be. I mean, it was just a situation in a tough battle. Only one could play, and he elected to do that. But he is a class individual who can play. We had a very good in the transfer portal, been going through that whole process. I think he'll bounce back. I mean, he's a very good player. He's very competitive. He's very smart. He knows when he makes mistakes. He is a competitor here in practice. He would do it. If he had a tough day next day, you think that next day was going to be a really good day. So this guy is a heck of a player, very competitive, and he'll have ready to play, and he'll be ready to play.
And you guys are I think, 3 touchdown favorites. Arkansas come off that really bad loss to San Jose State. But last year, I think they had lost to North Texas, and they ended up, having the ball down to 7 late in the game. I mean, do you expect this to be another kind of wild?
I expect every game I have to be a very tough game. This is a great league, has great players, and plus there's rivalry, tradition, all the things that go into this. There's no doubt. And I had no idea what that we were a favorite that much. And I like I said, I can't see that on film. I'm just watching us. We're trying to get first downs, get stops, and be able to kick it and do the right thing. So, no, they'll be ready to play. Hopefully we'll be ready to play, and hopefully probably be another good game.
Next, we'll go to Nate Allen.
Jimbo, as far as the run game is concerned, do you feel you're going to have to add Mons to it more as far as the...
Well, not necessarily. I mean, you possibly could or possibly not. And there's some things there that we can get to. We believe that can help us. And we're a few inches off on some things. And a couple of their players are really, really good players that defeated blocks. So at the same time, we have those schemes if we want to. But at the same time, we believe in what we're doing and how we're doing it. So we'll adjust and see as we go.
Just defensively, what do you think out of it?
Very multiple. I mean, different fronts, edges wide. They'll play wide technique, a lot of blitz pressures inside, a lot of different angles. So bring whether it's 3 down, whether it's 4 down, inside blitzes, outside blitzes, multiple coverages. They're going to be an over, they're going to be an under, they're going to be an okie, and they're going to get into their bear stuff. He's going to bring his bear and his twist and his A-gap pressures and what he does. And that, it's been working for him for many, many years. And they're multiple, and they present a lot of challenges.
Next is Tom Murphy, the Arkansas Democrat Gazette.
Yeah, hey, Jimbo, Arkansas has got a lot of new skill talent, a lot of freshmen. I wonder what you saw those guys on tape.
Athletic, big, long, explosive, and, really good players. I mean, really are. You can see the talent level in which they have and the skill level in which those guys have, for sure.
Last year's game, Kellen had really run for a lot of yards on them at 17, but last year's game, they controlled them a little. What were they doing in that game?
I mean, they ran their normal defense. We had opportunities on things. They defeated some blocks. We just looked at a couple plays in that game that we had opportunities to make plays. One of them was a run in which he had, and we had it with, could have been a walk. We thought could have been a big touchdown run, and they just defeated a block. I mean, it was that simple. I mean, their guys got off blocks, made blocks, and did a really good job. And where they changed some schemes. I mean, they of course are probably more cognizant of him and watching him, but at the same time, they did a good job. And sometimes it's players just beating blocks. Sometimes, I mean, it's not just anything schematically that's drastically different. And a couple of those plays they did.
Next, we have a follow-up from Bob Holt.
Hey, Jim, we talked about Nick and Boyd being from A&M, but Chad's an A&M graduate, coach there, and Ron Purdy's dad, one of their analysts who's from A&M. Well, what do you think about playing a team with all these guys who have some kind of connection to A&M?
Well, you do that a lot in this game. It's amazing how many times you go through a school and you're in this business long enough. The coach people who've ever coached there a long time, been there a long time, seen it a long time. It's actually probably more the norm anymore than it is different, especially when you've been in the business 31 years like myself. That happens quite a bit. So it's pretty normal.
Going to wrap you up, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you. You have a great day.